Hi, ninth grade. I'm just here to share with you some of the work we did on thesis statements today for people who weren't able to attend our office hours. We looked at thesis statements and moving from your thesis statement to your graphic organizer. So I'm going to share my screen and just go over some of the notes that you missed if you were not in class, or just to help you review if you were in class but want a review. Okay. Okay, so thesis statements, what are they? A thesis statement, and first let's start with why are we talking about thesis statements? So if you've worked on your essay so far, if you've completed the essay prompt, looked at the essay prompt, you know that step one asks you to just break that prompt down into 3 smaller questions. So I'm actually just going to start by looking over here, okay? So this is the prompt for your Macbeth final essay. Throughout the tragedy Macbeth by William Shakespeare, the audience and readers follow the transformation and downfall of Macbeth and his wife, Lady Macbeth. Choosing either Macbeth or Lady Macbeth, analyze Shakespeare's development of this character throughout the play and how this character development advances the theme. So then what we did in class on Tuesday is we did the essay prompt breakdown, which was step 1. So we put that in our own words, and more or less what people said in their own words, this prompt is asking you to do is choose Macbeth or Lady Macbeth and analyze their growth, changes, development, or downfall in the play. And how that character's development connects to a theme of that play. So then what we did, we said, let's think about that as 3 separate questions or prompts to respond to. So what are the 3 smaller parts of the prompt? The first one is that you have to choose a character to focus on. Are you going to focus on Macbeth, or are you going to focus on Lady Macbeth? The second one is that you're going to analyze the character's development throughout the play. So how did they change? How did they grow? What was their downfall? Because we say growth, but these characters, more so than growing, right, and becoming, stronger people than they were at the beginning of the play, actually had a downfall, right? They actually both of them fell apart, and since it was a tragedy, the play ended with both of their deaths. Okay, so you're choosing which character you're focusing on, analyzing the character's development throughout the play, and choosing a theme, one theme that the character's development connects to. So you should not be talking about both Macbeth and Lady Macbeth and Banquo. No, just pick one. You should not be talking about a different theme in each paragraph. This is a 5-paragraph essay, your 3 body paragraphs. They should all be about the same theme. And the themes we've talked about are blind ambition, appearance versus reality, gender roles, guilt and madness, and fate versus free will. Okay, so then what we're talking about today is thesis statements. So a thesis statement is 1 to 2 sentences that responds to all parts of the prompt. So I'm going to show you my slides now that we've gotten there. And you can also add this into your notes. If you didn't do that while you were watching, you can go back and add the work we did as a class into your notes. It also should be on the, yeah, you can add this into your notes. Okay. So what is a thesis statement? A thesis statement is a summary of the argument that you are going to make in your essay. It's like a contract that you sign to agree to something between you and your reader, and it's making a promise about the purpose and direction of your paper. So you're promising what character you're going to talk about. You're promising that you're going to talk about their character development, and you're promising what theme you're going to focus on. It should capture the whole topic of the essay in 1 to 2 sentences, and it goes at the end of your introduction paragraph. We'll get to next week, we'll work on your introduction paragraphs. But the point is, this sentence is the last sentence of your introduction. We did this for The Poet X. We did this for Of Mice and Men. You guys are actually very experienced in writing thesis statements, but I just wanted to review what this was because some people seem confused. It's that last sentence of your introduction paragraph. And lastly, it should be focused and specific enough to be proven within your paper. So if you had some amazing theory about Macbeth or Lady Macbeth, but you would need to write like a 60-page dissertation on it when you do your PhD on Shakespeare. That's great, but it might not fit in the scope of this paper, so you want to keep it very focused. Okay, just a quick look at what a good thesis statement does. It answers the questions and prompts, so it's going to answer all three of these questions. It takes a clear position. It's not repetitive. It's very specific, and it uses objective language. When we say objective language, it shouldn't be using I statements. So you're not saying, I'm going to prove, or I'm going to talk about Lady Macbeth. You're just saying, Shakespeare developed the character of Lady Macbeth. And then why do we need a thesis statement? Why should your essay contain a thesis statement? For you as the writer, your thesis statement serves as a planning tool. It helps you plan out what your essay is going to be about. What character are you going to write about? What theme are you going to write about? You're planning that by writing your thesis statement. It also helps you determine the essay's focus, as I just said, right? You're figuring out what you're focusing on. In all of Macbeth, what is your specific essay going to be about? And it helps you better organize and develop the argument of your essay. Once you have your thesis statement, you kind of have outlined where your essay is going to go. So it's a great organizational tool. For the reader, it serves as a map to follow throughout the paper. They know to be looking for the theme that you're talking about. They know to be looking for the character and how they developed, right? And it keeps the reader focused on the analysis. So it helps the reader know, what is this paper going to be about, and what is this particular writer, you, going to be analyzing in that essay. Okay, so before I close out, I just want to show you a couple examples of people's thesis statements that I thought kind of showed what you should be doing. So just a reminder, we're saying that the thesis statement wants to address all three of these parts of the prompt. Which character will you focus on? How did the character develop throughout the play? And what theme did that character's development advance, or what theme did it develop? So let's look at some examples of what people wrote. Okay, so we have a thesis statement right here. We have the three parts that it's responding to, and the thesis statement right here. In the play Macbeth by William Shakespeare, Macbeth's character developed the theme of blind ambition, as his lust for power made him heartless and reckless, ultimately leading to his death. So, did this name which character they're going to be talking about? Yes, I see right here, Macbeth's character developed, right? Did it analyze the character's development throughout the play? Yes, it said it made him heartless and reckless, ultimately leading to his death, right? So we got a little snippet of how the character developed. They didn't go ahead and summarize the whole play, right? I'm not asking you to do that in your thesis statement. You want it to be concise. You want it to be specific, but they said that this character became heartless and reckless, ultimately leading to his death. So right there, you have the second part, right? Analyze the character's development. Did they find a theme that the character's development connects to? Yes. Macbeth's character developed the theme of blind ambition, as his lust for power made him heartless and reckless, ultimately leading to his death. So there we see, they've done all three of the things. They've named the character, they've given us an idea of how the character changed throughout the book, and they've connected it to a theme. They're going to talk about the theme of blind ambition. Okay, another example. Macbeth's obsession with power hurts himself and others throughout the play, developing the idea that blind ambition can make someone reckless, leading to their downfall. So let's check it for all the things. Did they name a character? Yes. They chose to talk about Macbeth. Did they talk about how that character developed throughout the play? Yes, their obsession with power hurts himself and others throughout the play. And did they name a theme? Yes, this person said the word idea instead of theme, but they're still talking about theme, right? Developing the idea that blind ambition can make somebody reckless. So they said the character they're going to talk about, how that character changed throughout the play, and how that connected to a theme, which again, they're talking about blind ambition. I want to show you one more example, and I want you to notice these thesis statements all look pretty different. They don't have to be exactly the same. But I want to show you one more example, because both these people chose to talk about Macbeth and talk about Macbeth and the theme of blind ambition. but there's lots of themes that you can talk about. And of course, you can talk about Lady Macbeth, who I personally think is even more interesting than Macbeth. Okay, Macbeth. Oh, this is the wrong one. Here we go. Okay, Lady Macbeth's character has developed through her shame and regret. In this case, the theme of guilt and madness connects to her role in the play. So this person told us which character they're going to talk about, Lady Macbeth. They told us how she developed throughout the play through her shame and regret. And they told us that in this case, the theme of guilt and madness connects to her role in the play. So they said they're going to talk about Lady Macbeth, how she developed shame and regret, and how that connects to the theme of guilt and madness throughout her role in the play. Okay, so those are some nice examples for you to look at. Just make sure you're doing those 3 smaller parts. You're naming the character, you're saying how the character changed throughout the play, and you're saying what that character's character development, what theme it advances or what theme it connects to. How does it move that theme forward? What does it show us about that theme? Okay, the last thing I want to show you is just how you would move from your thesis statement to your graphic organizer. So once you have your thesis statement, you're all set and you're ready to move to your graphic organizer. That's where you're going to fill in these parts. Let's see, I'm actually going to open up one more and then I have to run because I have a meeting. So we talked about this in class. Janiyah wrote a whole lot of good stuff. You do not want your thesis statement to be like 7 sentences long. This could be part of her introduction. So that's good. She kind of already drafted up some summary of the play for her introduction. But the thesis statement is right here. Shakespeare's character development of Macbeth advances the theme of blind ambition. We can see this as Macbeth has a reoccurring rage to be in power and will do anything by means to kill to stay in place as king. So Janiyah has named a character, Macbeth, a theme, blind ambition, and talked about how Macbeth developed throughout the course of the play in relationship to that theme. So then what you're going to do is you're going to go in and you're going to start finding scenes that or acts or soliloquies or interactions that advance the theme. So you, and you're going to fill in the topic sentence starter. Okay, and then from there, you're going to find evidence to back it up and then analyze it, talk about the character development and the theme. This should all look very familiar. But basically what I want you to see is that each of your topic sentences should be talking about a different place where Shakespeare develops the character. It could be in a soliloquy, it could be in a scene, it could be in an interaction with another character or 2 characters interaction talking about that character. So here it says Shakespeare's character development of Macbeth in Act 1, Scene 7, soliloquy, advances the theme of blind ambition. So then Janiyah has found a quote from that scene and introduced that quote with her own words. So she told us what was going on in that scene and then given us the quote. Put that quote in her own words in the analysis, talked about how the character developed in that evidence, and then how does that character's development advance the theme? So you're always coming back to how did the character change and how did the characters change connect to the theme of the play. I have to run, but please let me know if you have any other questions. And I'm happy to answer them. Just to show you really quickly, I just want to show you down here. Oh no. So yeah, you're just going in here and finding different examples of that theme throughout the text, showing how the character changed throughout the text. I hope that all made sense. I'm going to post this to Google Classroom, and you can use this to help you work on your graphic organizer. Have a good day.